live.
All right,
Hello.
we are live.
We are live. Welcome. Hey, hi, Friday. Made it through the week. Pretty excited about that. Welcome to Tech Talk with T&E and JP. See, it all rhymes.
Right.
We're jumping in for a little impromptu webinar talking about the stuff. A lot of you guys already know JP is pretty hip deep in all of the things, a lot of the security, a lot of the technical stuff, kind of one of the OGs. And we wanted to kind of chit chat and see what's going on in your world. And just kind of say hi to everybody. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yep, it is Friday. I keep forgetting that, actually.
It is Friday.
Yeah, I was off on Monday, so this is my Thursday.
Oh, wow. So don't get too excited then.
No. I'm still going to turn it into Friday, though. So.
Oh, okay. So, we're midday, so it's technically your Friday now.
It was my Thursday before 12, and then after 12, it's Friday.
Right. All right. So you're popping. You're doing a lot of stuff. You've got a lot of things. I'm seeing you a lot more on social. Tell us what you're doing.
Lately I've just been in tool making mode because I hate probably most of the tools that are out there, and I also see that there's a huge need for technical SEO. When I say technical, I mean things like crawlability, indexation, HTTP status codes, uptimes, downtimes. Making your website organized to me is not technical. That doesn't necessarily impact of what's automatically going to get you indexed and get you crawled. So I'm getting big into trying to build a dashboard that's something that our clients can kind of see exactly what's going on, and also if we need to do an analysis to kind of give us an exact reason why something's not happening, why you're not getting indexed. This whole thing about you need to have quality content, you need to build links to get indexed, that's complete rubbish bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I purposely index the site maps, a text file on purpose just to kind of prove a point. So and then we kind of have the flip side, something that me and Brian Cato are working on right now. We're actually building an agency around negative SEO, not doing it, but preventing it, mitigating it, analyzing it, because we don't want you to be in a position where it's too late, you've gotten attacked, and now you're trying to figure out what to do when unfortunately a lot of the realities of negative SEO, it's like you kind of did it yourself because you didn't check some of the things with your server, some of the things you put a no index tag when you probably shouldn't have, So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the market. Is no longer is it the marketing side of SEO. It's the problems that happen, why things aren't indexed, why things aren't getting crawled, or even why you're not getting ranked. So,
well, I mean, the whole thing is that the amount of time, if Google comes to our website once a month, how long do they stay? And you have to be technically sound nowadays. Yep. I truly believe it. I'm looking at this website right now that is built on some freaking platform I never freaking heard of before, and they literally only have 10% of their pages indexed. And I'm like, first thing is Google probably doesn't like this platform.
Yep.
So could I ask them? I said, what kind of stuff do you have access to as far as can you do anything for speed control and all this stuff? And of course they can't. But I think that's going to become the big problem, especially as people start building websites with AI. Which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that if you do it right. But if you just haphazardly start building websites that Google doesn't like, or that won't get indexed, then what the hell's the purpose?
Yeah, and also too, a lot of cases scenarios, unless you're a giant like Walmart, when you have a site that's taking 12 seconds to fully render, you're kind of shit out of luck, because Googlebot's staying on your site for 5 to 6 seconds. It used to be kind of around 4 seconds. I'm finding it's a little bit longer now.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity for you to be able to show all the content that you need to. So now there's ways that you can technically kind of show certain things of Googlebot, things that only show users. But most most e-com sites are heavily in JavaScript. That's why I always use that example. Like Walmart, it's taken them 12 to 16 seconds to fully render a product page. But they're a giant. They get away with that type of stuff. Someone who's a new e-commerce business who's loading that, you're probably not going to get indexed. You're not going to get crawled. You're going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, that's a viable point, because a lot of people will use like Amazon or Walmart as an example, but they don't necessarily realize they have the reputation and the brand. Like you said, they can get away with it. If it takes longer to load, you already know Walmart. You already shop at Walmart. You're going to wait for it.
Yep. It's also funny too, that article that came out recently about, Google doesn't pay attention to your brand. Like, bullshit. Like 12 years ago, they used to have a list of whitelisted companies that they're trusted. They actually would show it on their website. These are whitelisted companies that we are basically giving the okay that they're a trusted brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of their entity patent. They have branding that's in there. So that's why us as SEOs, our job is to kind of prove a point. Like, hey, don't listen to them. They really don't know what they're doing a lot of times.
I agree 100%. And I think we're in the world of lazy SEOs right now.
100%.
And it's just, even some of the audits that I get asked to do, I just got asked to do another one 2 days ago. And it's just like, well, okay, first of all, they didn't have Search Console installed, which I still cannot freaking fathom how anybody doing SEO can't have Search Console installed. And, and then the second thing is just like, I'm like, it's just basic shit. I mean, where'd you learn this? Who told you to do this stuff? And
so that opens up, where is a good place to learn all of this stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure. SEO Spring Training, Digital Marketing Conference. But yeah, it is frustrating. I run across it all the time, and I don't want to be rude and belligerent, but sometimes I just like, what the F, You take clients, really? Okay, so. But
unfortunately, that's 80 to 90% of our industry. Unfortunately, we're not regulated, so it's not like we have licensing knocking down our doors and saying you need to make sure that you implement these HTMLs and this markup and this or that. Like, no one really cares. We live in the Wild West. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, so. At least for a few months, if hopefully the business owner's paying attention. But it's you could easily get 6 months out of somebody and walk away. And and then you got to come to somebody like us that we have to fix all the bullshit that you did.
Yeah.
So, but yes. What were you saying, Elisabeth? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Carry on. Keep going. So, JP, you said you were building some tools because you don't like what's out there. Is it something that you're looking at for like maybe a monthly recurring subscription for SEO people to track their stuff?
Right now, I've got a couple of tools that are public, which I do have some ways that I'm grabbing some of the data, but I just wanted, as I'm building something, usually I'll make something public, just saying, hey, go check this out. I haven't really decided there's certain things that I'm going to make public. Building a SaaS specifically for SEOs is sometimes can be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And it's not always necessarily the audience that I want. So a lot of these tools, I'm making them public for free. Some of these reporting ones, I'm using them for internal purposes for our clients when we bring them on board. And then as far as the Red Hat SEO side that I'm doing with Cato, we are going to be building something that's more a SaaS model to help you monitor and mitigate potential issues that are happening when it comes to negative SEO. And that is a platform that's going to be, in my opinion, it's not just for SEOs. Everybody needs to have something in place that they can check their possible attacks of things that are happening before it's too late. Because I dug in deep for about 2 days with a client who it wasn't really a negative SEO attack. It was kind of more of a hack. Basically, long story short, they didn't update their theme in like 3 or 4 years that they got from Theme Forest. And I went into their server files, everything via SSH. I checked everything from my end, doing my scans and tools. It all came down to WP Bakery or their theme. and I turned off the way that I knew it was the theme is because I turned off I switched the theme over to whatever the standard of WordPress is, like, was it 20 themes, 13 or whatever it's called now. As soon as that happened, the links that were actually injected into the site disappeared. So that's how I got to my final consensus that, hey, it's either WP Bakery or the actual theme itself. I checked all the WP Bakery, all the files, everything like that, and nothing was in there. So literally just updating the theme, everything went away. So, you know,
that's one of the biggest things I try to tell people is, like, you've got to keep it updated. And so many, people just don't necessarily take that seriously, but that's probably the fastest and easiest way to hack a site. Through
it's pretty clever too. I'm like, how did you guys do this? Because I need some links. I mean, don't do this, but it was kind of interesting how they did it. They actually just found a small little module, because a lot of these themes, a lot of these builders are using basically they call them blocks. So you can actually do a pretty simple injection into just one little block within the theme itself. Some of the themes that they're on, like ThemeForest, for example, they actually kind of have their own JavaScript modules that they build into the themes to kind of make it a lot easier to build on. However, when you're using blocks, it's using a lot of JavaScript. That's why Elementor is so problematic, because it's very heavy in JavaScript.
Yeah.
So just even doing something simple like that, I always write, if you're going to use WordPress, use something that is a little bit more custom, rather than to be heavily relying on to these builders. Builders are really for people who don't do dev, but if you want to be safe, you need to have some type of dev on hand to do more custom work.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize that, especially Elementor, Elementor itself takes out a lot of the basics of WordPress, that are originally designed to make it run good and everything. And a lot of people, we took on another client, this is a couple months ago, and they had almost $900 in reoccurring annual fees with Elementor that they didn't even know. The developer who had built the website didn't even tell them. Granted, you should be using pro stuff. Don't use free shit. But, you've also got to make sure that, number one, that it is being kept up to date. Number two, get rid of the WP admin login. Do some custom login scripts so they can attack your WP admin.
Yeah, but don't use WordFence. A lot of people.
WordFence is the worst.
WordFence is good. WordFence is good for like brute force, but that's about it. It doesn't block a lot of these other pretty common things with JavaScript and doing different insertions. So any type of security should really be done at the server level. Be it either htaccess or Nginx, depending the editor files that you're using. But that's really where things need to rely on. And
if you're a local business, you need to block other countries.
Yeah, I do. I block everything.
That's the bottom. If you're a plumber in Dallas, what the frick?
Yeah. I block everything. But again, you can get a VPN and you can get in and you can do some. But again, the normal person isn't going to go through those hoops.
Exactly right. So, what are you thinking about talking about on Tech Day?
It's a good question, because I've been doing some pretty fun stuff in local. I've been doing some fun stuff in technical. So that's kind of where I'm trying to figure out if I even thought about talking about negative SEO in the sense of like things to look out for. Most people think negative SEO is just throwing a bunch of porn links at your site and like, oh, I got, it's just people are getting way more creative now. So I think maybe educating people on how like different things to look out for. I think the tech time that I talked about a couple years ago was mainly like cyber. So I don't know if I want to kind of run on that when it comes to negative, but a lot of people, it sounds like based on the speaker list, there's quite a few people who I've never even met, even talked to, who I've followed for a long time. So there might be some stuff in some local that I've been testing that's doing really, really well that I may show on Tech Day.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Because we're we mixed it up this year, so we're adding in a lot of AI, a lot of automation. Because I just firmly believe that if you're not going down that road and you're still just going to be the old-fashioned SEO guy, you're going to get trampled on.
Yeah.
So, I really think that even if you're not ready for it, you need to be at least you'd be doing something.
And I was pretty anti AI when it first came out, just because I knew what the dangers of it. But now it's like, hey, I use it all the time for literally everything. Even some of these tools I've made have kind of helped me guide me into some of the coding that I'm doing. But
heck yeah,
I mean,
it's really good, especially going through the just the ideas that you have an idea, but then you start communicating with of course I love Chat GPT because I choose to just master one, so to speak. But it's really cool kind of having that conversation while you're trying to build something, and the notes and the topics and ideas that they come back with is just like, wow, I freaking thought of that.
Even some of the photos it's been shooting out, like a lot of my Facebook ads I've been doing, I've been creating all of my photos and all the content. Like I don't even use Canva anymore. I literally use ChatGPT for everything. I've even made like little comics. I've made little like cartoons of my dog. Like it's crazy shit what it's doing. I know actually two writers who have been really struggling over the last like 4 or 5 years with writer's block, because they're extremely talented when it comes to writing content and copy. But that like kind of first little like idea, like what you like your first sentence, like even just typing a simple prompt in ChatGPT kind of helps them get out of that writer's block
100%.
struggle to kind of get them, okay, now I kind of know what I want to write about. Here's a good summary. And so,
yeah, no, I'm having a blast with it. I'm just barely starting on the image side, but I'm doing a lot of, especially around the SEO audits. I'm having it help me build some Google Sheets and some stuff that I can throw into more of an automation thing. I'm really trying to automate my life, basically. But it is a lot of fun, and it can get frustrating. That's why I can't remember which one I tried. Claude, I think it was, and Claude just ended up pissing me off. So I just got to Chat GPT.
Yeah, there's some pretty good ones too. I'm testing a lot with different AI models to kind of see where they're pulling their search results. Looking at Perplexity. Perplexity is probably the most up to date when it comes to actual search results, but they're also using Google as their primary.
Yeah.
There's also been talks that Google's going to buy out Perplexity because Gemini just sucks.
Yeah,
Perplexity does such a better job. So it's good to kind of see where they're sourcing their data from, because now the AI is here. We're having to optimize for different AI models now. So
yeah, that would be that's and then I'm just playing with all kinds of stuff. Elizabeth built a plugin with it, and she had fun doing that. And
super fun. That's great.
Yeah. So, well, tell us about the venue and everything that's happening coming up, Miss Elizabeth.
All right. So,
don't forget about the golf day.
Hotel, huh?
Don't forget about the golf day.
Don't forget about the golf day. Yeah, I kind of I had a call with the resort, with the golf area, golf club. And so Wednesday, April 30th, a lot of the guys wanted to come in early, play golf, drink, shit talk, the usual. So I'm reaching out to everybody who's interested in golf. And you guys just pay for your own. I'm not going to collect money. And we got it a pretty decent fee per person. I think it's around $85 for a round of golf. The course is really nice. It is actually one of the first golf courses in Arizona. Obviously, it's been updated since it was built.
It is the first golf course, and it's the first golf course with grass. So it has
okay. Well, you tell us about the golf course, because you're going to know more about the golf and everything.
Well, and it's funny too, because this golf course is right in the middle of downtown Chandler, so you can't drive by and see the golf course. It's like there's buildings now all around it. So, but once you get into the resort and you from the rooms you can see the course. But the golf course is, like I said, it was the very first golf course, and then I believe there's a whole thing inside the hotel that tells about the history of it. But it's like the third or fourth one, it became the first one to do grass. So I can't even imagine golfing in the freaking desert and the dirt.
It's like, what was it before? Clay?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's not only golfing with, hickory sticks. Anyway, so but it's a very old course, obviously, and me and the kids golf it at least a couple times a year. It's a little bit on the expensive side during the winter, so we kind of stay away from it. But we worked out a really good deal, and it's we're looking forward to it. And again, it's right attached to the hotel, so I'm planning on sneaking away during an afternoon breakout and playing a quick 9 or something.
Mastermind.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Where'd Terry go? Oh, he's having a mastermind on the golf course. So
Yeah, no.
We're gonna see if AI can fix my my slides.
Exactly. But
So
no, it is a lot of fun. I think last year we had about 16 people. So it was, I think every year it grows a little bit. The first year, did you do it with the first year when we did Arizona Grand? Were you out there with us? I know Wes was, and his sales guy that he has here. But no, it is fun. And we do, obviously try to bring it in the day before. So if anybody wants to come in, this year's kind of interesting. There's a lot of people that are coming in to spend extra time doing the Arizona thing, Grand Canyon, Sedona, Bisbee, Tombstone, all that stuff. So it is pretty cool though. So we're trying to make sure that we have who's coming in early, who's coming in late or staying late or whatever, because we still want to be able to be accommodating if they need stuff while they're here. So
it's a little bit later than it usually is, right? It's usually been in like April, because I think like they had the NBA finals a lot of times. I think they had that a couple years ago.
Yeah, we normally do it the weekend after Easter, but we found last year when we did that, it coincided with a lot of things, like everybody's spring break for their kids, and then also the eclipse. Apparently that was a big deal to a lot of people. I'm not discounting your love of the eclipse, but that was not my first thought when I was scheduling the conference. So, but so we decided to push it out a little bit. Unfortunately, the timing did not coincide with the Diamondbacks baseball like we normally try to do it, because that's always such a fun thing, to get a suite at a stadium and go watch baseball.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks are actually like on a 2-week road trip. It's like the longest road trip of the years at the beginning of the season. We're like, crap. So
yeah.
But
everything's scheduled. Our VIP Thursday, we've got an amazing mastermind with Marty Marion. We're gonna present one of James Slatterly's presentations that he was not able to present before he left us, and so that's a real special thing.
And E-Rock, we have E-Rock. Also,
E-Rock is going to come and talk. Eric Christopher. I don't know if some of you guys already know him. He's kind of one of the OGs in our industry.
A long time.
Exactly. He's been around for a while. And then we got a play date scheduled. I've got an indoor sports park, so it's all virtual things: baseball, basketball, football, boxing, skiing, all kinds of fun simulators.
Yeah, I'm interested in virtual boxing. That should be pretty.
I know, right? It's going to be fun. I'm going to bring in lunch for that. Adult bevies. It will be fun. Welcome reception, and then hitting it hard and heavy Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Morning main stage, afternoon breakouts. Totally looking forward to the Tech Mastermind Sunday afternoon. That's kind of where I really.
That's my favorite part.
It is my favorite as well.
And this year we're going to do lunch and learn. So the first day is going to be high level. High level is going to, they're 2 hour. We have 2 hour lunches. So the last hour is going to be a lunch and learn if people want to come back and watch what high level has going on. The second day we're going to have Chris Moore do a lunch and learn. He's actually the MC, but we definitely wanted to put him in front of everybody. One of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. And then Sunday, we're not sure what we're going to do for the lunch and learn there yet. And then we have an affiliate panel on Saturday, which is Craig Campbell, James Dooley, and Carl Hayden. Hudson. And it's going to be, this was a personal thing. It's actually the very first thing I started setting up when I started figuring out the schedule, because I really I'm a big believer that if you're not starting to, once you get good at this business, if you don't start doing some stuff for yourself, or your family instead of continually making other people rich, then you kind of need to see what's out there. And a lot of people are saying affiliate market is dead. And I've been telling people forever, as long as somebody's willing to pay you to sell their stuff, it's never dead. So, and obviously, Dooley and Campbell and Carl are, they're probably biggest in the world at this. So I'm super excited about that. And then we're going to do an SEO panel on Friday. Not really sure what we're going to do there yet. I'm still kind of playing that one out. But no, it's pretty freaking. We're super excited. The amount of quality and value of speakers we have this year is the best we've ever done. So also, as far as the value of the hotel, I mean, literally, we're 30+% cheaper than last year, just because we went from Scottsdale to Chandler, basically. So. And we did that because we want, we know how much the cost of these things aren't just the ticket. We know that. So Elisabeth and I go to a lot of events, and you need to do what's the whole package worth. And that's kind of like, Elisabeth spent a lot of time, I think a couple months on the value of the hotel side of it before we even figured out what we were going to do. So please come. I mean, it's going to be incredible. We've got a bunch of stuff planned with the breakout rooms.
Everybody's always not been able to knock the value. I mean, that's the primary thing that we offer is the value, the quality of information, the quality of the people coming to the event. I mean, you're absolutely going to learn a ton.
Yeah, exactly. So, and these events aren't huge. They're not like going to traffic and conversions or stuff where you have thousands of people. So, we picked the venues specifically for the networking side because we networking is the coolest part about these things. And if you don't have a good system or a good setup to network, then like Vegas is a very hard place to have a good networking conference because typically people are staying all over the strip, just wherever they want to stay. So, but we really spent a lot of time to make sure that the venue has, 20+ restaurants and bars, like right around the corner of the next block.
About 35.
Yeah. So super excited. We've got some great sponsors this year. High level sponsoring, Lead Snap. There's a couple good ones. I don't know, Elisabeth, name off the sponsors so far.
38 Digital is sponsoring, Local Dominator is sponsoring, Blogstorm and Link Whisper, and I'm in talks with a few other people that are interested. Herc and I are talking his software. We might be able to do something for the digital swag bag. So we've got a lot of things that are popping behind the scenes. And as you guys know, we're always here to give value. So, if we can do stuff for the digital swag, that's absolutely what we want to do for you guys.
Yeah, 100%. So
if JP has something he wants to offer up, a coupon code for any of his stuff.
Yeah.
I just need to there's some production stuff I need to get in the wraps.
That'd be awesome. So what else do we have going on? This was, like you said, this was impromptu.
It was impromptu, but I like to hear what JP's doing, what he's digging up and learning, and what's popping in the industry. What's your best advice for anybody just starting out right now? It's kind of a crazy time to start a digital business.
It is, just because we have so much information at our disposal. I mean, there's never a better time to get into an industry when you can literally go watch a YouTube video or even watch something right now of just something that's going on.
Yeah.
Coming to these events are definitely worthwhile, especially in the networking portion of it. You never know who you're going to meet, and you'll find that a lot of the people who you think are these like huge celebrity like SEOs are actually pretty cool and laid back. And like you hear Craig Campbell, you hear Nathan Gotch. These are guys that I've followed. Nathan Gotch, I'm actually pretty looking forward to meeting him. I've followed him for a really long time.
Yeah.
It's
the first conference he's ever spoke at. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I kind of have that reputation, I guess, for putting people on stage.
Putting people on the spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just for anyone that's wanting to learn. I mean, there's several people who came up to me like, "Hey, JP, like I followed you." I'm like, "I don't know who you are, but thanks for coming out." Like,
Yeah.
you know, but you just, again, you never know what type of opportunities are going to happen. I've had several kind of JV opportunities happen by just networking after the event was over. Like I said, it's always a good opportunity to meet people and see what kind of vibes, you know, you can develop great partnerships, you know, great friendships, you know, we're all here to make money at the end of the day. So, you know, there's definitely opportunities to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, Holly just joined us. Hi, Holly. I mean, I'll never forget the first time I met Holly in real life, I guess at IRL. You know, and then the biggest one I have is when I first met Clint Butler live. Clint and I, you know, because we were both in SEO. He lived up in Washington then, and he was actually, I just paying him to do Quora reports for me because he'd send me basically a video about reading the report because I just didn't want to dig into all that bullshit. And I probably bought 20 different things from him about Quora, and then I met him at one of the rock stars. I can't remember, 7 years ago, 7 years ago. And I met him at the Dory always had a speaker event usually in a hotel suite. And so I'm sitting in the hotel suite, and Clint comes in, and I'm sitting there going, I'm like, damn, do I walk up and say hi? You know, that's Clint Butler. You know, you know. So I went up and said hi, and we sat together on the couch area and stuff, and we've been literally freaking best friends ever since. And you know, it was just one of those things. It's like, oh my gosh. Now, I've had people come up to me, hey, can you introduce me to Ted Gobitis? I'm like, sure. You know,
yeah, he's right there. Go say hi.
Yeah, hey, throw an ice cube at Ted and hit him in the head. Hey, Ted.
Okay, well, what's so funny about that is you were totally fangirling over Clint, and then we had an opportunity recently where somebody was totally fangirling over you, and I just thought it was adorable. And he's like, "Oh my God, Terry Samuels is here!"
I know, it's just like,
oh, say hi.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you think back of when you met some of these people. Like, I can remember when I met Ted. I can remember when I met Lee. You know, those are, you know, life-changing, especially as far as industries, growing my business. I have a network that I can reach out for just about everything, you know, and they can also reach out to me. And that's where the gold is. I don't have to guess. If I can't figure something out, I'm like, hey, JP, or hey, Clint, you know, you talked about a negative attack. I had one of my lead gen sites getting killed, and I couldn't figure it out. And I found out it was an image injection, which I'd never even freaking heard about before. Yeah. You know, and so, you know, and I got that through one of the friends that, you know, is in our network. And I didn't even know how to check for that shit. And I did a lot of malware cleanup, but my malware stuff is always, you know, go find the recent file in the file manager and start cleaning it up that way. But right. I'd never dealt with an image injection. So, but that's the cool thing when you think back at these events is, you know, the first time I met freaking, you know, Michael Merlino, he came to our New Orleans mastermind, and, you know, that was pretty freaking crazy. And Mike and I have been dear friends ever since. So, but that's what these events are for. These events are for coming to meet the people that you want to meet, you know, get answers to your struggles, you know, look forward to what else you can do that you might not even be working on yet. And, you know, just take advantage of the opportunities. You know, if you spend $5,000 on an event and that $5,000 is worth, geez, I couldn't even put a number on some of these people that I've met. You know, it's amazing.
Well, and don't discount the people in the audience either. Just because they're not a speaker on stage does not mean that they are not full of like tons of information. Brilliant. I know some people that are coming that they're just coming to attend it. And I know for a fact, these are some pretty awesome heavy hitters, you know, in our industry that have a lot to share, a lot of value. So,
and they were probably past speakers too. So, you know,
a lot of them are pretty quiet. They're pretty recluse, kind of hidden in the industry. I've had several that came out to some previous events that I had when I was with NFG back in 2018. There's a guy in the audience who's making like $30 million a year from just lead gen. Yeah, you know, you just never know you know, a lot of the people in the audience are, you'd be shocked of how incredible successful they are, and they're just super quiet, like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, very to themselves, and are very open to you know, talking to you. And that's another thing too, like, don't be afraid when you come out, you know, everyone's pretty approachable. I mean, don't
Yeah.
be scared to just go talk to, you know, Terry and myself, Craig,
Mhm.
whoever. I mean, everyone's pretty friendly for the most part, you know, with the
Yeah.
exception of Clint. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That's on
Um,
purpose.
yeah, right.
Yeah, Clint just puts on that persona.
No, but he's a solid guy too. And just, you never, like I said, I mean, everyone's pretty approachable. I mean, the only times I was always kind of don't talk to him is like I had just spoken and I'm like, I gotta go use the restroom. Like, give me a second, gather myself, and like I'll come back and we'll talk. But
exactly, for sure. And that's, you know, I mean, it's and you start doing, one of the reasons why we set up the VIP. I've been to a lot of events where the VIP event is right in the middle of everything. And so you're like, hey, JP, good to meet you, but I got to go here because I paid for the VIP. And, you know, so that's why we try to make sure all that's done before. So there's not any kind of, you know, it's not a good feeling when you're sitting there, you know, you can't afford the VIP and the buddy you just met and is going off to the VIP. You know, so, you know, but it's so much value. It's so much, but I tell people, you come with a purpose. You know, if you're specifically coming to meet people, if you're specifically coming to, you know, I mean, I know a lot of people right now, this whole map freaking suspension bullshit going on right now is just effed up. I mean, I've got 2 clients at legitimate freaking places and we cannot get these freaking maps back. And, you know, that's the kind of thing that people are struggling with. And you might not find the magic answer to that, but you might find some secrets to help, you know, some stuff you need to do before you actually put in for the appeal or whatever.
yeah,
And that's the biggest thing, is that you get that stuff by asking those questions. You know, I mean, you know, in the maps world, there's power hitters. You know, you got, you know, JP, of course, you got Merlino, you got freaking, you know, Rayburn's going to be there. He's not speaking this year, but, you know, these people, you know, they live in the map world. I don't like maps. I live in the content world. You know, so,
and I hate content.
you know, I let Brandon deal with all the map crap. So, but it is, like I said, if you're on the fence about coming to this thing, the coupon code is gets you $400 off any ticket level. So you can actually come to this thing, a 3-day event, for like $700, I think, with that coupon code for the general admission. This is affordable. And, you know, if it costs you, you know, a couple hundred or $800 to get there and some hotel money, you know, and you spent $2,500 to $3,000, you know, I guarantee you'll get that much value out of it. Guarantee.
Heck yeah.
You know, so will I give you a refund? I'll call it out. Sure. If you don't think you get the amount of value out of it that costs you to get there plus your ticket price, I'll give you your money back. So, if we've never had it happen, you know, we've had people come. You know, unfortunately, we've had people come and have to leave for emergencies. That's a different system. But we've never had anybody come and say, "Oh man, this sucked. You know, I'll never come back."
Who was that? April's husband, right? Isn't he a pilot? He flew back and then flew back the next morning.
Yep, Paul. Yeah, he flew home and then flew back the next day. That was kind of funny, actually. I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like you said. So come to the event. Come and be introduced to our family. This is it. This is our extended family. All these people are our friends. I don't put people on stage that I don't know personally, and for that, you know, we can trust that everything's going to be done, you know, hopefully by what their topic is. We have had people give me a topic and it changed, but that was during the digital one that we did. So if you're a NARC SEO,
he's been with us since the beginning, since the 2019 event.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're a NARC SEO, don't try to come speak at my conference.
You can come talk to me. I would love to talk to you.
Anything else, everybody?
No, I mean, just come out. I mean, like I said, you never know who you're going to meet. They're a lot of fun too. It's a pretty fun place. Is there a swimming pool? I need to ask you that. Of course, there's got to be a swimming pool.
There is a pool. There's a really nice pool. Cabanas. You can rent the little cabanas. hang out there, little
Yeah,
mastermind.
That's what I'm looking forward to, just hanging out by the pool and grabbing some grub.
Exactly. And it shouldn't be too hot in the first week in May. So, but yeah, there's a pool, there's cabanas. Holly asked the same question because Holly's bringing Dawn out. They typically will rent a cabana, party out there. But yeah, it is a fun time. Come out and visit with us. And again, if you have questions about it, contact us. The room block is closing soon. We're fighting with the hotel to keep this thing open. But just like anything, at some point they've got to close it. So if you're going to come out, even if you don't get your ticket right away and you're going to plan on coming out, get your room, because that, the room will be a thing. So, but Holly says, I'm excited to sit by the pool and not be in the snow. That's another thing. Yep. So if you're in Wisconsin, get to Arizona. But anyways, yes, reach out to us, like and subscribe to us on our channel. We typically do this every Monday, but we're going to be doing some impromptu ones leading up to the event. I'm trying to get some of the breakout room people together under one so we can all talk about the specific breakout rooms. But the schedule is on the website. So if you're curious to see the schedule and how it's going to work. But again, if you have questions, just reach out to either one of us, and we're happy to help you out and answer questions. Anything else, Miss Elizabeth?
I don't know that I have anything else. I don't know.
Yep, I agree.
I know, Friday, I got Friday brain. I don't know.
I know. I'm actually, it's Friday afternoon. How's the weather? I didn't even ask you. It's still cold up there?
Up here?
Yeah.
It's like 60s.
Okay. That's what we are. Yeah.
We had a couple of days ago was pretty chilly, and then we've had some pretty bipolar weather the last week and a half. Though it rained a few days ago, and then it got down to 40, and then it got up to 80, and so
that's awesome.
But I'm looking forward to come out. I have family out there too, and I'll go see them. And
you're not driving down this time, are you?
I'm driving. I don't fly anymore. Yeah.
Okay. Right on. So how long is the drive? 2 days?
It's about 12 hours if my grandpa's driving. It's about 8.5 if I'm driving. So it's not too bad.
That's cool. Good deal. Yeah, I was trying to get Monique and Wes to come down in their RV.
Oh yeah.
Road trip.
Monique would not do that.
I think
she has about a 3-mile radius total of her drive time.
Yeah, and she had a hell of a time getting home from Tampa. I feel for her because every time we go to Florida, we just want to get home on time because it's so crazy getting delayed in the East Coast.
Yeah, if I can drive within 18 hours, 24 hours, I will. But if it's beyond that, of course, I'll fly.
Yeah, for sure. So we're going to San Diego.
I think our max is like 6 to 8. Terry doesn't like to sit that long in the car.
Yeah, we'll drive. It's just going to take us a couple days.
Yeah, I haven't thought about bringing my dog too. We'll see.
You should bring your dog.
Yeah, dogs are always
welcome. The hotel is dog friendly.
He's a service animal though, so I'll be good.
Heck nice. Yeah, awesome. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us. JP, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I'm just looking forward to I love all the shit that you do. I've been your fanboy forever.
Appreciate it. Likewise.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Again, like, share, subscribe, and then we'll see each other on Monday. Have
like, share, subscribe, and follow. I need to put it on a sticky note in front of your computer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a professional like Dre or Randy.
Yet.
We need some background music and lights and stuff like Dre.
Sound effects.
Woo! Yeah, the little horns. So, anyways, everybody, have a great weekend. We'll talk to everybody later.
Thanks, JP.